Ron DeSantis has gained the respect of influential tech and financial moguls thanks to his unapologetically pro-business and anti-political correctness beliefs. They even believe that DeSantis might be able to ride the wave all the way to the White House in 2024. Today, we're looking at what makes the Republican more attractive than the man who came before him, Donald Trump. Starting with DeSantis has gathered a wealthy group of donors. Billionaires like Ken Griffin, CEO of the hedge fund Citadel, Paul Tudor Jones, Richard Uihlein, and Bernie Marcus, co-founder and former CEO of Home Depot, are among DeSantis' supporters. These individuals have given money to the governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis' Political Action Committee, Friends of Ron DeSantis, within the last 2 years. Robert Bigelow, a hotel businessman and aerospace entrepreneur, has become DeSantis' top supporter, contributing an astounding $10 million to his campaign. People have really money to burn, don't they? According to Open Secrets, an organization that keeps track of political donations, DeSantis has amassed an impressive $172 million in total. People who attended DeSantis' event in Utah are also talking about the guy's future bid for the presidency in 2024, even though it was primarily organized to promote his re-election campaign in Florida. Moving on, DeSantis has emerged as Trump's main rival. Despite not having declared his intention to run for president yet, we know that Trump has been heavily hinting at a potential 2024 run. However, we all know how that's gonna go. Though DeSantis easily defeats the other candidates in the made-up race, the majority of recent surveys show that Trump has a significant advantage over DeSantis. However, his biggest supporters are largely remaining silent about whether they believe he will make a bid for office in 2024, or if they would support him. Just like Trump, DeSantis has gained a reputation for squabbling with the media and expressing strong opinions on various topics. Those include his dislike for masks during the COVID-19 pandemic. When you think about it, DeSantis is still focused on the Florida governor election in 2022, so it will be some time before he potentially announces a bid for that office in 2024. There haven't been any indications that show his interest in the presidency, but again, it all starts like this. One day you're governor, and the next day, with some millionaires backing, you're running for the office of president of the free world. There are also a lot of unknowns since no contenders have yet declared their candidacy for the 2024 presidential election. Next up, DeSantis has garnered massive support among massive business owners. Regardless of whether DeSantis is one of the potential candidates to lead the Republican Party, it's obvious that the Florida governor has received strong and enthusiastic support. Some of the nation's biggest players in finance and technology, not just in Florida but across the nation, are pleased with his extreme and frequently Trumpian positions on controversial issues. Though his controversial words and actions, DeSantis is encouraging and gaining the support of the group of business leaders who view environmental, social, and corporate governance investing as a joke. There are some people who don't think corporations should take a stand on social problems or engage in what DeSantis terms anti-wokeness, and who think the economy should be a high, if not the top, concern. All in all, we have to agree that regardless of what happens, DeSantis is affecting the race leading up to the 2024 election. Moreover, DeSantis has the perfect resume to lead the Republican Party. Looking at his resume, we can see that DeSantis himself has a traditional Ivy League background, despite his tendency to challenge the establishment. He spent a large portion of his childhood in Dundon, Florida, where he participated in Little League Baseball. He later went to Yale University for college, where he served as the team captain of the baseball team. After receiving his degree, he continued to attend Harvard Law School. What's weird is that before entering politics, DeSantis worked as a federal prosecutor after serving as a legal advisor in the U.S. Navy during active duty. He later served as a congressman representing Florida from 2013 to 2018 during his former political career. His popularity increased when former President Trump announced his support for him as a candidate for governor in the 2018 election. Trump is said to have made this choice after hearing DeSantis speak on Fox News. He must have seen himself in DeSantis. Following up, DeSantis' career didn't really take off until the pandemic. The governor took advantage of the attention for avoiding public health guidelines and mandates regarding COVID-19 to concentrate on keeping businesses open during the early stages of the pandemic. The more you talk about him, the Trump-like he sounds like. The massive support was due to the surge of Silicon Valley and Wall Street giants flocking to Florida in search of zero-state income tax and an open state during lockdowns. Some in the business community view his contentious COVID-19 stance as a selling point, since it gives the impression that he is particularly pro-business. And that's the only thing in big tech and Wall Street cares about. If it were Saddam instead of DeSantis, he'd get the same support too. Coming up, we all know DeSantis' controversial remarks and policies are making him famous. More recently, DeSantis has come under fire for some of his contentious policies, notably the fiercely contested Don't Say Gay bill, which prevents public school teachers from talking about gender identity or sexual orientation with kids in school until the 3rd grade. He has also adopted a tougher position on abortion. Recently, he suspended an elected state attorney from the Tampa area who had pledged not to enforce the state's new abortion statute following the Roe v. Wade decision. Some business moguls and entrepreneurs who immigrated to the state in the last couple of years are complimentary of DeSantis' leadership. One such mogul, Brian Goldberg, the founder and CEO of Bustle Digital Group, which manages media sites such as Bustle, W Magazines, and Gawker, relocated to Florida during the pandemic. He believes DeSantis is appealing because of his track record of putting business operations over public health regulations. To the political crowd, DeSantis is everything you get from Trump without the mean tweets. Or as the New Yorker mentioned in a recent article, Trump with a brain. But according to his biggest supporters in the government, Trump is still regarded as a champion among the people, more like champion of rednecks. In other news, first up, Florida is becoming a safe haven for big business. Florida has emerged as a popular destination for Wall Street and Silicon Valley expats looking for a more business-friendly state to establish a base of operations. Large corporations like the financial behemoth Citadel and Elliott Management Corporation, as well as the asset management company ARK Investment Management, led by famed investor and ardent Trump supporter Cathie Wood, have also relocated their corporate offices to Florida in recent years. As we are all aware, other than native Floridians, the tech industry and Silicon Valley do not think highly of former President Trump. No one does, to be honest, except for the rednecks, and that's very unlikely to change in the future. When we take everything into account, DeSantis is expected to win the support of Florida's influx of tech and financial moguls. There really is no better candidate. The IT industry cares deeply about the issues like abortion rights, so DeSantis would probably need to walk a fine line with them. Next up, the Fed's increasing interest rates are causing havoc on financial markets. The global economy has been choked by its neck as the Federal Reserve prepared to step up its fight against inflation in recent weeks. The Fed announced its 3rd consecutive increase in interest rates on September 21st, this time by 0.75 percentage points. The Fed's benchmark rate has increased 3 percentage points since the year's beginning to a current range of 3 to 3.25%. This has caused havoc around the globe. Central banks around the world have increased rates. As a result, markets are suffering. If you're not aware of the economics of interest rate fluctuations, a tighter monetary policy in the United States reduces economic activity everywhere else. Investors' risk appetite decreases, and because the dollar is considered the most stable commodity, its demand increases and the value of the dollar increases as a result. Concerns that policymakers' aggressive tactics could trigger a worldwide recession are growing as a result of their dedication to reducing inflation at all costs. Rates were also lowered by central bankers in Indonesia, the Philippines, Taiwan, South Africa, and Norway. It highlights the magnitude of the worldwide shift toward tighter monetary policy. Lastly, Apple has agreed to sponsor the Super Bowl halftime show. Everyone has been waiting for a streaming service that broadcasts sports. Now, the dream doesn't seem too far off. Apple has agreed to be the primary sponsor of the Super Bowl halftime show, despite the disputes between the parties over a high rights fee. Apple Music will take Pepsi's position as the new sponsor in a deal that cost the tech giant around $50 million. It might be argued that Apple's decision to serve as the main sponsor of the Super Bowl halftime show is consistent with the company's creative goals. Apple has historically taken pride in keeping its brand promotion different from that of consumer good giants like Coca-Cola, McDonald's, and Budweiser. These companies have a long history of supporting sporting and cultural events, but you gotta make money somehow, right? Do you think DeSantis has a chance at making it big in the Republican Party? Let us know in the comments. And if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like it and also subscribe to our channel.